So good afternoon, everyone. I am Jonathan Gluss, CEO of the Houston Arts Alliance, and I have the great pleasure of being your host. So welcome to Houston one more time. I also, very quickly before I introduce our next speaker, I need to say a special thanks to my colleague David Lake from the Houston Endowment, who has worked very closely with me over the last year in working with the GIA staff. So David, thank you very much. One last thing about Houston. Today it's rainy. Tomorrow it's 75 and sunny. So we're going to have a great day tomorrow. So my job right now is to introduce Houston's Poet Laureate. And I have a particular fondness of Gwendolyn Zepeda. She is our first Poet Laureate. She was invited by Mayor Parker, who herself is in fact a poet, just a few years ago. A little bit of background about Gwendolyn. She is actually her first poetry collection, called Falling in Love with Fellow Prisoners, won praise from the New Poetry Review, the Journal of South Texas, and Texas Southern University's Southwestern American Literature. Her second collection, called Monsters, Zombies, and Addicts, will be published next year. In addition to poetry, Gwendolyn writes fiction and nonfiction and has published award-winning novels, a short prose collection, and 4 bilingual children's books. She also is a pioneer of internet writing. She's distinguished as the first Latina blogger and was one of the founding staff writers of Television Without Pity. She has received numerous awards that I'm actually not going to go through the entire list because they are in fact numerous. But most importantly for us here in Houston, she was born and raised right here and attended the University of Texas in Austin. Gwendolyn Zepeda.
Hi, everyone. So as you can imagine, as the city's Poet Laureate, a lot of times I'm called upon to read about things of local interest, maybe to write poems about Houston and things in Houston, or about things of very general interest. But when Jonathan asked me to speak here today, I realized that as someone who grew up here and benefited a lot from arts education, in fact, I would say owe a lot to arts education from various nonprofit organizations, I realized that I had the perfect piece to read to you guys. So this is something I never get to say. Please know that I am reading this specifically to you. And I retitled it Poem for the Grantmakers. We used to go on journeys. A mile's walk would end in green swamps of the bayou or among its cemetery's angels. Another mile would get our little legs to blue downtown. It's silver glass, pink granite, gray marble. The building full of books that they would let us see and touch. The copper fountains raining copper pennies. Occasional stages with music, with dancers. And mazes underground we could explore alongside well-dressed people just like you. And maybe you were there. We journeyed farther. Learn numbers and names of buses that carried us past where we could walk. Learn the landmarks, the sculpture like an abstract red Mickey Mouse, the giant wood puppy in the pines, the soldier named Houston who rides above the hill. We pulled the cords that rang the bells that opened the bus's doors to improbable scenes. Mansions with rooms high as 10 of us, containing treasures barely watched by placid guards. Palaces where young people lounged in cool air and read all day or played guitars. The walls were etched with names I never read, and maybe yours was one of them. We rode back home or walked, watched colors fade from green glass water to dirt, to gravel to rotten wood. Returned to the heat pushed by box fans in our windows. Returned to the cold. Left harps and violas behind, re-submerged in the noises of our neighbors. Sad babies, mad roosters, and the nightclub on the corner. At night, I continued my journeys, revisited colors, dreamed of grand statues and intricate architecture, imagined myself traveling further. I'm looking at you now, and we might talk over red wine tonight, have witty conversations. We'll ride home in cars to green grass and polished wood, and maybe forget each other's names, but that's all right. Our lives are good. My journey's been scenic, had a happy destination, so forget about me. Think only of the child that I used to be, of her brothers and sisters, some not even born yet, the ones who will not meet you downtown, the ones who might never read your name. Remember your place in their journeys. You're the one who rides forward and forges their path. Thank you guys for the work you do.